It began after a senator from Wisconsin saw an oil spill off the coast of California, which turned into a teaching moment on college campuses across the country. Since 1970, Earth Day, which is today, has become a global event, a day to remind everyone the Earth is worth cleaning up and preserving before it's too late. Reduce, reuse, recycle became a mantra born of those early days of addressing Earth's ills. And recycling is one of those things many of us try to do, with the blue bins and the orange bags. But is it worth our time and effort? It's a question we get often here at the 208 at KTVB. And so we got a question a few weeks ago from Joe, in Boise. Time to look into the orange bag and recycling issues. Hefty has changed the name, shrunk the bag size, and now sells fewer per container of bags. Seems like Hefty wants to force folks to not participate. You might also want to see what the city of Boise is doing about this. It's their landfill we're supposed to be saving, says Joe. Well, it's actually the Ada County landfill. So to answer Joe from Boise's question, let's bring in another Joe from Boise. I do believe it's still Boise.
No, I don't live there in Boise anymore.
Not in Boise.
I moved. That's okay.
Treasure Valley.
Treasure Valley,
still
Joe.
works.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to answer this on this Earth Day, looking into whether or not these orange bags are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
So, okay, here's the thing is I think a lot of people maybe have lost track of this program over the last several years. So here are some updates that I did want to mention. As Joe in Boise said, Hefty did change the physical orange bags for the Hefty Renew program, or the orange bag program. They used to be what I would describe as a cheaper looking flap tie bag, but now they're drawstring bags, probably like one you have at home, but they're orange. And the boxes do contain 20 bags. They used to have 26. So there has been some changes to the program as it evolves, but I did check in on what was once a pilot program with big hopes here in the Treasure Valley. Now it's a growing national effort. Going the extra mile is what can make a difference in life. And when it comes to the health of our planet Earth, there is an effort to recycle more than ever before.
It truly can be trash to treasure.
Catherine Chertuti is a consultant with the Hefty Renew program, an example of one of these newer programs. And you may know it as the Orange Bag Initiative across the Treasure Valley. It's been here for several years. Now, people are asked to go out and buy specific orange Hefty bags from the local market, and they can collect hard-to-recycle plastics. And those orange bags, they go in with regular recycling and are sorted out and shipped to a new life.
Both mechanical recycling to make new products, durable goods in particular, but also being used to offset the use of coal in cement production. We are still sending some materials to California to Bifusion for the blocks. And we have the bench here in Boise at Manitou Park.
So what was once a pilot program in our area has now grown to 9 American cities across the country, including a new one just this month in Tucson, Arizona.
We just have to find the innovators and the new uses and the new opportunities out there across the country.
Hard-to-recycle materials are also being sent to new end-of-market adventures.
We also have been sending some to test markets for things like lumber products, where they're made into new lumber. They've also been tested in a product that is used for stormwater management, water drainage. That is a amazing product that's even been approved by the California DOT for use in stormwater management in California. So we're trying a lot of new markets. That's what's been really fun about this program and working in this area is all of the emerging technologies and the innovation that's going on to try and make something durable and good out of these very hard to recycle plastics.
Chertuti adds that the Treasure Valley area, centered on Boise, continues to be a shining example of the program working. Still, there is plenty of room for improvement.
Boise area has at least a 15% participation rate, self-reported obviously out of that survey. The interesting thing is it's really hard to determine a participation rate because you can buy a package of bags, 20 bags could last you a year. If you're using them, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to fill a bag. So it's very hard to say how much participation we have, but it's very steady here. And my goal would be to double that. I'd like to see 30% participation in the Boise, Ada County area. And we're averaging about 22 to 25 tons a month out of this area that's going to these end markets.
So why not a refresher from the expert? How does this program operate?
Buy the package of bags from the local retailers. When it's full, you tie it up tight and you put it into your regular recycling. And all of that regular recycling goes to Western Recycling here in the Boise area. It's sorted out, they bale the materials, and as soon as they have a full load, which is usually about 20 to 22 bales, they call Hefty, and Hefty pays for all the shipping and sends those materials to the end market.
So one of those end markets, as they're called, is in north of Salt Lake City. And this is one that we get a lot of questions about. There are some headlines in the past about what's going on with the stuff sent to Salt Lake. As of today, I can tell you that part of the products that get collected here in the Boise area, they ended up at GeoCycle, which is on the Devil's Slide facility north of Salt Lake. And Brian, this is kind of like one of these concrete or kiln facilities where instead of burning some things to power the kiln to get the concrete going, they can take some of these hard to recycle plastics and they can power some of that stuff too. And something that you and I were talking about during the story in terms of like, well, sometimes the wrong thing ends up in these bags.
People don't take the time to put in the right stuff. They'll just throw it in there.
So I've been talking with the expert, talking with the manager of the program that we were just speaking with. They say that the Boise area, specifically the Treasure Valley area, has a very high rate of making sure that it's the correct items that are going through. This is what they call a shining example of the program working, again, only in 9 cities, but they hope to expand across the country.
And when you do make that mistake, it does go into the landfill eventually, though, right?
The ones that don't make it there will probably end up in a landfill somewhere, but the goal is to have nothing in the landfill.
All right. Thank you very much, Joe.